Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Sister Nayyirah. I am here right back again with episode number 10. I am truly excited today. As you know, you have joined in on the Heal on Purpose podcast. Today, we are intentionally eradicating generational traumas, dramas, limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging behavior patterns. So as you are tuning in live, on via Facebook, live via YouTube, I'm going to ask that you like and share this video because we are going to truly enlighten you today with minding the mind. In addition, if you are listening to my podcast, we definitely want you to subscribe to the podcast so that you can get content every single week that will help edify not only you, but your family, your community, and ultimately the world. And today, I'm excited because I have such a powerful sister, a sister that's full of compassion, a sister that's full of love, and a sister that's mission-minded when it comes to the resurrection of the mind, the heart, and the spirit, starting with the Black family and abroad. And so today, I present to you and introduce to others Sister Anisa Muhammad. She is going to talk about minding the mind. And one of her quotes in this famous book, and if you don't have the book, you're gonna have to get the book now. Repair of the Black Family. Sister Anisa is an author, a best-selling author in chapter 21 of Repair of the Black Family, Minding the Mind. And one of her famous quotes is, "Surely Allah changes not the condition of a people until they change their own condition." Holy Quran, Surah 13, Ayah 11. I love that surah, that chapter, Sister Anisa.
Yes, ma'am.
We got to be able to change conditions. Sister Anisa Michelle Muhammad is a native of Cleveland, Ohio. Anisa Michelle Muhammad is a devoted wife, mother of one son and 3 daughters, and a grandmother of 5. Anisa possesses the indescribable love and passion for mental and spiritual healing, ultimately leading to physical well-being. Her mantra, healing does not occur by way of osmosis, it takes work. Anisa's background is allied health nursing. Her educational achievements include 3 associate degrees in liberal arts, music, interdisciplinary studies, and psychology. She holds a bachelor's degree in human services, 2 master's degrees, one in human services, the other in public health. At 62 years old, let me change that part. At 62 years young, she is a doctoral candidate at Capella University with a focus in healthcare administration. She has 25 years of experience in domestic violence counseling, health education, disaster and survival preparedness, training, and in addition, she is the subject matter expert on the topics of chronic disease, self-management, addiction, and recovery. Listen, it's much more bio that I can say. But those are the words on the paper. But I want you to hear from this powerful sister. As you can see, she is no lightweight. She's coming as a heavyweight champion and minding the mind. Sister Anisa, please tell the people who are you, Sister Anisa?
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nayyirah, Brother David, and audience. I thank you so much, Sister Nayyirah, again for blessing me to be on your podcast platform. I consider it an honor and a true privilege. Your question is, who am I?
Yes, who are you from your perspective?
I'm just your sister. When people ask me that question, that's the only appropriate answer, in my opinion. What you read on the paper is what I have actually worked towards doing and being. My ultimate goal is to help the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan establish a national health system for our people. The health system that is in existence today is not benefiting anyone, not really. We pay exorbitant prices for healthcare that only wants and seeks to medicate us. They give us pacifiers and band-aids, but don't get to the root of what is actually causing whatever illnesses that we have. The majority of chronic diseases that are out there right now are actually medical diagnoses for social and behavioral problems. Mm-hmm. And we can get into that, later on in this podcast. But that's who I am. That's what I love to do. Helping women overcome the trauma associated with domestic violence, being survivors, and being a survivor myself. And I don't even like using that. Definitely don't like using the word victim. Mm-hmm. It sets a mindset. Mm-hmm. While I survived it with some level of sanity, I would prefer to have myself be, if I had to categorize it, I'm a conqueror.
Come on, wait. You say you're what?
I am a conqueror. It took a lot. It takes a lot for people to overcome generational trauma. Mm-hmm. So we have to look at ourselves and we have to be honest with ourselves. And that's why I titled my chapter, Mining the Mind. I had to take a deeper look at myself to find out, girl, what did you contribute? How did you contribute to all of this stuff that's going on in your life? All too often we look external instead of internal. And that's internally, powerful.
I say that's powerful. And yes, I know you got so much to say, and we're gonna dig and we're gonna dig deep into that. And that was just such a powerful introduction, to be able to see where you look at me. What it signifies to me is how I got over. Yes. What I had to go through to get through and to arrive where I'm at now. And so many of us as a people, and in particular, the Black woman, right? It's not, our traumas and dramas is not limited to just us as a people. But when you look at what we've had to suffer through and what we've had to go through and to arrive where we are today, and we still making it. Come on now, somebody say this. If you are in a position in your life right now, I want you to put this in the comment section. I want you to say it as a mantra to yourself, and we still making it. Right, yes, Sister Nisa. So yes, I want you, Sister Nisa. I mean, you have achieved a lot, in your 62 years of young, your 62 years of being in your young age, right? Where were you, and at what point in your life where you knew that something had to change? Like, what was that? What was that thing that you was going through? And even though you was in the midst of it, it was something in your mind that will even get you to this day to say, mining the mind. What was you going through?
I was 37 years old, and I was on what I'm going to call a traumatized autopilot, falling into the mind of being a victim. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is me. What is happening to me? And I was involved. I had a serious drug problem. I was in a very abusive relationship. I was a mother, and I wanted to make a change, and I didn't know how. I didn't, because I had convinced myself that I couldn't do any better. So when you have that mindset, that defeatist mindset, and you fall head first into the abyss of hell with your thoughts, you stay stuck there and you continue to spiral downward because of how you have painted that poor image of yourself. So that's where I was. That's what I was going through. And in some instances, I was even homeless off and on. And when I say homeless, I mean, I literally didn't have it. I was sleeping at bus depots, bus stops, what do you call it? The beach, with a child. because of my addiction.
Mm.
Look, that's how I know that Allah had his hand on me then, because my son was never in danger. We were always protected. And my son was never taken from me.
By the grace of God.
Only by his grace.
By his grace. Sister Nisa, you said something so key, and it's really touching to my heart. Because you really don't look like and you don't sound like what you've been through. But you said you was in the abyss of hell. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I came up in the church, right? You know, I'm a little church girl, and I accepted Islam, and Islam is my way of life. I stand 10 toes down and 10 fingers up with that, right? But when I used to hear about hell coming up in the church, and I come from a good church, right? I always thought that was something under the ground with the little devil, you know, with the little pitchfork, right? And that's how you knew that you was in hell. But here it is, you stand tall today to say, look, I done been to hell and back, okay? What would you say? What's the condition of hell for people that may still have in their mind that you only go to hell when you physically leave this earth? What did that look like for you? And what are some of the identifying points that one can look at and say, you know what? I'm in the abyss of hell and I got to make a new decision. Not only a new one, but a new powerful one.
Yes, ma'am. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan teaches us that hell is a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of existence. It's not an actual place, but it's also a place of the mind. So when you are in despair, when you are in a condition to where when you wake up, you don't want to live. When you wake up in the morning and you ask God, why am I still here? I don't want to be here. Not if I can see God did not create us to live in squalor. He created us as reflections of him. And so hell looked like to me the way I was living. Dirty. People looking down on us because we had no place to stay. We had no place to live. We had some place to groom ourselves, but I had nothing that I can call my own. And even when you start coming up out of that, because see, telling a lie, I did not want to continue. I'm sorry. To live like that. He heard me, but he said, baby, I'm not going to take your soul from you tonight. You got work to do. And I didn't realize that until years later why he spared my life. So when people ask, what does hell look like? You have to look at what condition of life do you have to actually be in for you to be in despair? Because if hell is a state of mind, a state of being, and a state of existence, and a condition of life, that's what my quote is: Allah changes not the condition of a people unless they change themselves. So whatever despair looks like to you and for you,
that's powerful.
That's your hell.
That's your hell. And let me tell you, see, you really went so deep in describing your physical and your mental and spiritual condition, which is so powerful. And even when I look at my life today, and Allah has been good to me. God has, for those who don't know what the word Allah is, it simply means God. He's been so good to me. But I know that I am not in his total grace when I'm not at peace. See,
come on.
I got to have a sense of peace. And when I'm at peace, that's when I know that no matter what's going on in my life, no matter what's going on around me, no matter who got the traumas and dramas, if my peace is disturbed, then I have to look, am I in his grace? Is his favor upon me? And then I do what I got to do to quickly restore my peace. And most times, I say quickly. I'm not even wasting no time. And most times I find out two things that help me to get back to that state of bliss for me. Y'all, I want y'all to listen to this and see if it resonates with you. One, repentance.
Yes.
I start repenting, asking for forgiveness of things I don't even know that I might need forgiveness of. I repent. And two, show more gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
See, the more I say thank you, and not just to the God, but show gratitude to his people, be found in service to people, he immediately restores my peace. There's times, Sister Anissa, and we're going to talk about the healthcare field because I know that you are deep into health, right?
Yes, ma'am.
There is times, and I'm saying this because I want somebody to know somebody is in a condition right now. They just don't know how they're going to make it. You understand? But there's time physically because my body has been diagnosed with fibromyalgia. My body, not me, right? But there's times where my body physically I can't like get out the bed. But when I start communicating with my God, he just pours an extra triple dose of not only his spirit, but his healing grace upon me. And I could just get up.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
So I say that to say this, that when we're suffering, it takes divine connection to be able to change that condition. So thank you for reminding me that a lot don't change the condition until we change the condition. And so, Anissa, you have a passion for healing, a passion for health. What got you to the point where you wanted to put that passion into a chapter that's called Mining the Mind?
What happened? The catalyst for my passion evolved over time. I started as a nursing assistant working in convalescent homes. And that's when I started to see that everything is not black and white. Everything is not us and them. And to see my elders being abandoned, put in a nursing home. Some of those patients' families lived overseas and they never visited them. And to see them suffering and being sick from things that I later on learned by watching them and studying that was actually caused when they were young. Something that they were doing, using, eating, or something. Because and you have to come up with that synopsis, because if you have not been, don't have a congenital, meaning if you were not born with a particular condition, then the conditions that we have as far as illnesses and things of that nature evolve over time, and it doesn't hit you. God did not put us here to suffer like that when we're older. And I'm looking at them with tears in my heart, thinking they are in their golden years. They worked hard all their lives, and they should be living in some sort of ease and enjoying the sunshine and stuff like that. But they stuck in here. And I vowed to myself that I would continue to study to help others, but mostly myself, because Sister Nayyirah and Nisa not going out like that.
Oh, wait, hold on. We want the whole audience to hear that, okay? Anissa not going out like that, okay?
No, so, I'm not.
And we want everybody else that's listening. If you got something going on in your life, you got to say your name. Such and such is not going out like that, okay? So that's the affirmative. Today is a very powerful day. So we're affirming all good things right now. So Anissa said she's not going out like that. So what's the road, Sister Anissa? Let's just look at this, especially when it comes to how to eat to live, right? Because as a people, being a broken people, being made to be other than our own self, being made to eat other than good foods to eat spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. What is the keys to success as it relates to how to eat to live and how necessary that is in 2022, August of 2022? How necessary? Give us from a ground zero, like I know nothing about how to eat to live, to bringing us up to modern times in this moment.
Well, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad summed it up exquisitely in How to Eat to Live books 1 and 2. And even as Muslims, we are suffering from ailments that we didn't used to suffer from. The best way that I can sum it up is like this. To eat means to consume. So if eat means to consume, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to continue to eat just regular food like vegetables and fruit. You have to be exquisitely precise in what it is that you're consuming, mind, body, and spirit. You have to continue to study how your body works. A lot of us are sick because we can't connect the dots between what the messenger taught and how deviating from what he taught can set up sickness in the body. Since I was just recently hospitalized for 6 days at the end of May and the first week of June, it was a horrific experience for me because I had to put more focus on fighting for my very life. Was it because of what I was hospitalized for? No. It was because health professionals don't listen to people. And they misguide you and have you going over here when you need to be right here. Mm-hmm. I had to literally threaten the life of a doctor who was trying to give me an antibiotic that I kept telling him I was allergic to, and he wouldn't listen. But out of that, I learned that I have this inflammatory stuff going on. My body is something in my body that my body is fighting. So I have to slough it off. I have to study the lymphatic system even more so than I ever have so that I can overcome this. We can't help ourselves if we don't know what's wrong. You have people out there taking vitamins and minerals and they don't know whether or not that's really what's wrong with them. You don't, because every vitamin has a corresponding mineral. So if you're taking, say, vitamin A, for example, if you're not taking zinc and eating to live, eating the proper foods, then the vitamin is not going to be absorbed in the body properly and used. Mm-hmm. And the same thing goes for calcium. Calcium is a mineral. Vitamin D3 goes with that. We have to stop depending upon synthetic products. We have to really try to get the books that the messenger prescribed for us, How to Eat to Live, but apply it in a more scientific way. Just, sister, you stated something before we came on the air. And you said that you had to really take what you have and bring it up to the modern times. We have to take that book and bring it up to the modern times. Genetically modified products were not at the level they are now in 1972 when those books were published. So we have to learn how to identify those products because they're not real. The seed is contaminated with toxins and poisons. The only reason why they exist is because people got tired of being, having their food actually sprayed with toxic chemicals to kill bugs. Why kill the bug? That's messing up the ecosystem. So what if you lose a little bit of the fruits and the vegetables because of the crops, but you want to destroy everything, even the people who the crop is being grown for? Mm-hmm. So that toxic chemical to kill the bugs is actually inside the seed. And if it's in the seed, it's in the fruit. If it's in the seed, it's in the vegetable.
Now y'all,
and they're using mulch instead of real soil with worms to grow food. Mulch does not have any nutrients in it. And Sister Nayyirah, they're even introducing the concept of all this plant-based meat, all this that stuff is toxic to the body because it's not real. They're printing food now, dear sister, with a 3D printer. They're using chemicals and powders that will, in the end, mimic what chocolate tastes like, mimic what papaya and other things taste like. And they mixing these things up in a lab, then they pouring it in a machine, and then they can whip out something that actually looks like a Hershey bar, but not. This is dangerous. And we have to pay more attention to not what's on the surface of what they put up on the news. Because they're putting up on the news what they're paid to put up. Google searches, you have to look deeper than that. This is some serious stuff that we have to deal with. So that's why we have to do and go all out to support the Staple Goods project that we have and get that information to our people. Because famine is on the way. And they are 3D printing food. So the thing is that if we want to be soldiers in the army of Allah, then we're going to have to make sure that our bodies are healthy enough to fight back. You have to fight so many different forces. You got to fight those 12 different opposing forces going on in your mind and put them to rest. If it's not of God, then you tell your mind, if you're not of God, then you got to go.
Teach. Wait a minute. Hold on.
You got to go. And
that's real powerful. That's powerful. I want to hold that point right there because you said so much loaded information, and I pray that the guest is writing these things down. Though we are not doctors, right? We're not doctors, but we are prescribing the prescription of what Almighty God has given to us as student followers of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, subscribers to the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So any medical advice we cannot be responsible for. But the most pertinent thing that I have heard you say, which was everything, but in particular, if it's not of God, it got to go. And we got to know how to cast out demons, Sister Anissa.
Yes.
Right? And that takes skill. But out of the skill, I would like to impress upon our listening audience is it takes love for self. And many of us don't have that love for self. We say we love ourselves. It can be very superficial according to what is that definition of love for self or what others have exhibited and we've taken it on. But this type of love for self, and we suffer from self-hatred. But this type of love for self, Sister Anissa, got to be the love for self the way God himself identifies love for self.
Yes,
which
ma'am.
is do for self, according to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or suffer the consequences. And we are responsible for sounding off that truth to our people and beyond, to humanity. Right? But we have to be examples of that. So we have to preach what we practice. Is that correct, Sister Anissa?
Yes, ma'am.
Not just practice what you preach. Somebody write this down, okay? And think about it like this. I gotta preach. Excuse me. What did I just say? Practice.
You gotta preach what I practice.
You gotta preach what I practice. So I practice self-care, self-nourishing, and doing all that I could do to sustain this gift called life. And one of the most important things, Sister Anissa, that you said that I have to constantly do, and that's casting out them demons, not just in myself. I got to help other people cast out demons. You want to know why? Because not only do my healing affects me, but it affects everybody around me. Sister Anissa, we're living in a time where we got to hold other people accountable.
We do.
We have to hold other people accountable because their demons can infect and affect us.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
So if we want heaven on earth, Sister Anissa, and minding out the mind, what are some of the ways that you feel that we got to be able to cast them demons out of our, not just our mind, but our heart?
One thing that I had to do was disconnect myself from everything that I thought I knew. Because when we live our lives based on what we have accepted as truth. And what we have accepted as truth may not necessarily be truth. Not 100% pure, unadulterated truth as brought to us and given to us by God in whatever shape, form, or fashion, whether you call him Allah, Jesus, Kesekoato, or grandfather, Yahweh, or Jehovah. It doesn't matter. Because his truth is truth. It is the interpretation of man that has caused spiritual problems for the people. I have to take responsibility. Say it to yourself. I got to take responsibility for my own stuff. We have to remember that God wants ease for us. He wants peace for us. He wants us to have money, good homes, friendship, and all walks of life, and luxury. That's how he lives. And he wants us to live the same way. But there's a price that you got to pay to get all of the things that you want. You have to accept your own and be yourself. And what is your own self? Your own self is a righteous Muslim, and Muslim only means one that submits his or her will to do the will of God. So when people ask me, how did you go from here to here? I had to be truthful with my own ugly stuff.
Wait a minute. Hold that right there. We got to be truthful with our own ugly stuff.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
Listen, family, we casting out demons today. And the way we do that is we got to look at the man and the woman in the mirror. And what I have come to find, Sister Anissa, as you are putting these powerful jewels out there, we want the audience to really catch them. Truth lasts forever, and truth is transformative. So if you desire to transform your life, then you have to know, not only are you to look for truth, but know that you are the truth. And you got to be willing to see yourself as a truth that's being in a state of existence that is constantly transforming, right? Because we're on a journey to get back to our higher selves and get back to the original God. No matter who you are, regardless of race, class, creed, and color, truth is transformative. And we have to, somebody take a note on this, a mental note. We have to know that no matter what, regardless to whom or what, the power is within me to heal on purpose.
Yes.
It's within me. And that's what this whole talk is about. It's a group of people, an audience of people that intentionally are looking for answers from within and from without. And so today, as you are such a guest that's helping to facilitate that, healing on purpose, we're living in a society in this day and time where people are under stress, a tremendous amount of stress. And not just stress, Sister Anissa, but fear. Okay? We got COVID, pandemic and epidemics, right? And now they're coming out with this monkeypox. And I'm watching or feeling the atmosphere, right, of those who talk about it or, are getting wind of this monkeypox. What do we do from your perspective in the field that you work in the healthcare field, to prepare and not panic, to eradicate the fear of these different, what I say is divine calamities that's coming from God himself. And I do get that from my teacher, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, when he said that this COVID was a pestilence from heaven. So what do we do to prepare and not panic?
While the information and the science that I have accessed regarding monkeypox is sketchy, I have a question to just put out there in the audience. How can you prepare for something that you really can't see?
Okay.
You can't actually, viruses and bacteria are microscopic and they cannot be seen with the naked eye without the aid of a microscope. So what I would recommend, and please, if I may be so bold as to put a disclaimer out on behalf of Sisters for Life, Sister Anisa Muhammad and Nayyirah Muhammad in Repair the Black Family, this, what I'm saying to you throughout this broadcast, is for informational purposes only. And it is not carte blanche for you to deviate from the instructions and advice that have been given to you by your primary care provider. Sisters for Life, Anisa Muhammad, Nayyirah Muhammad, David Johnson Muhammad, and Repair of the Black Family is not responsible for your conscious decision to deviate from your provider's advice. Whether that sickness is real or imagined, we are not responsible. With that being said, I'm going to continue.
Let's keep it real because we're healing on purpose.
Yes, ma'am. The only thing that I can suggest is because they're talking about this monkeypox virus is being spread kind of by touch or being in close proximity to somebody. Enter into thy chamber and shut the door until thine indignation has passed. That's from Isaiah, the book of Isaiah in the Bible. Keep wearing your gloves, but make sure that you have a high quality glove to put on your hands, because we're going into 3 years of COVID plus the monkeypox, and we're trying to make sure that our hands don't touch anything. Be mindful when you go to the grocery store. Be mindful when you open the doors to places, when you have the grocery carts and different things like that. I know y'all want to go outside and play, but why not make your place, your home, your dwelling space, a wonderful and peaceful place? Everybody wants to go to concerts. They want to do this. They want to do that. You're getting the vaccine. You're doing this, and you're making yourself more vulnerable because we still have not been practicing how to eat to live. We still think that because someone told us that it's okay for us to go outside and play now, you're letting your guard down. You don't know who, if it's not a family member or whatever, you don't know who that is sitting in front of you, behind you, to your left or to your right. And if it can be transmitted by way of droplets, we still have to be careful. Wear your mask, wear your gloves. Stay away from places where there are tons of people, because these calamities are not over. I said just a little while ago that you have to be strong in the army of Allah, and this army of the faithful, and you cannot do that when you're sick. There's not enough evidence out there for any public health entity to tell us what to do and how to best guide us against monkeypox, other than what's already out there. And what's already out there is what I just stated. That's all they have. And that's all that I am legally responsible for reporting, until I have something that makes more sense. Because when you're dealing with medical science and when you're talking about biochemicals and when you're talking about microbiology, chemistry, body systems, you have to examine all 11 systems and how whatever this illness, virus, or whatever, how it affects each one of those systems. Just like COVID.
Beautiful.
Well, we have just keep doing what you've been doing during COVID. Beautiful. And I really hope and pray that the public and even if there's a ring of truth, they're positioning this particular illness and making it about the LGBTQ community. And I don't like that, because God is an equal opportunity God. He's an equal opportunity destroyer.
Okay, now wait. You can't just throw that out there and leave it. God is an equal opportunity God, and he's an equal opportunity destroyer. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I needed to make sure I duplicated that.
You know, he exalts and he abases.
Okay.
So for them to put it out there, alluding to the fact that men having sex with men, women having sex with women, and all of this, that, and the other, they're putting it out there in the minds of some people that they're the cause of this monkeypox epidemic. And that's wrong. They should not do that. And I'm speaking from a professional point of view. That's wrong, because it's putting a stigma up from other people in the minds of other people, because it's some very disturbed people out here that just don't have anything else to do but to be hateful towards people for whatever reason they think is necessary. And as a medical professional, as a social scientist, as a medical scientist, that's just wrong. You give the information about who it's affecting. And the thing is that just like with COVID in the beginning, the magnitude of how these things are impacting us is not equal to the magnitude of how they're portraying it in the public and what you're looking at as far as the cases are concerned.
Wow. So Sister
it's like, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to bring my point home.
Okay, go ahead.
Like in the beginning of COVID, all they put out there was you have all these people dying, but they never told the people that 98% of the folks that had COVID recovered. The fatality rate was a little bit greater in the beginning at 1.9% of the population in this country were fatally, it was a fatality involved, 1.9%. And then you got 98% of the people that contracted COVID survived. But if you listen to the news media that's on television and the reports from all of the public health entities there in this country, they painted the picture like, oh my God, you have all of these people that are dying, but they never talked about who survived.
Absolutely.
And it's not that those deaths I'm not minimalizing them, because the death of one person is very tragic. But if you're going to report something to the people that's going to benefit them, then damn it, tell the truth.
Absolutely. And this where it comes back. Thank you, Sister Nisa. I feel you, girl. That's your passion and that's your power, right? And so we have to, be fortified spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically to survive the calamities that's coming down. And this is why this topic is so important, of mining the mind. And I bring it back to this as it relates to healing on purpose, especially as women. Food is our medicine, and we are the medicine women. We are the ones that has to be in that kitchen and really not just in the kitchen, getting the information that's going to help us to survive, right? Spiritually, mentally, the mind, right? emotionally and physically. And Sister Anissa, I know that we can go on and on and on, right? But I have to get ready to wrap this up. And so you wrote your chapter in the book. Who is the intended audience for this book, for your chapter in the book?
My intended audience, in one sense, is in a general sense, is for anyone that is facing difficulty when trying to change and doing things positive in their lives, to overcome the head noise that we experience when we're trying to change. But it's more specifically for those who know someone, or someone who is going through or has gone through domestic violence issues, that have experienced self-sabotaging behaviors, for those who don't understand why this keeps happening, this, that, and the other keeps happening, negative things that are happening in their lives. And it's for those that have addiction issues. I still struggle with sugar. And the killing part about it, Sister Nayyirah, is that if I don't go to the store, girl, I can cook. You know what I'm saying? So I'll go in the kitchen and cook something just for one cookie, and then wind up giving away. I done made 2 dozen, but I'm gonna eat one and get the rest of them away. And so that's that. Even that, I struggle with it, but that's my reality. And I wrote what I wrote in my book to let people know that you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
It helped me to understand that I was not alone when I was in the process of coming out of it. Because when you look at the different personalities that float around in our head, believe it or not, there are many. For every single one person, you have a minimum, Sister Ava said, of 12 different facets of your own personality. And every last one of them want to survive. So you have to...
Don't I know that?
Yeah, you have to deal with not just the fact of admitting and acknowledging that those different self-defeating, self-sabotaging aspects of your own mind exist. You have to come under the realization that they hard to boot out because they want to survive. They're actually entities that live within your own mind. And we have to face it. And it's kind of like, you know what? I got to act like Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray Leonard and all of the great boxers and fighters, and call on that God that's within me and go to war with them. My book is for this chapter is so vital for anybody who wants to have the courage and sum up the strength to peel back the layers of the things that's going on. And it's for anybody that is willing to be honest with themselves and take a look in the mirror and understand that at the root of whatever it is that you're going through is you.
Beautiful. Let me ask you this next question. Thank you, family. Y'all got to get get the book to read her chapter. And we're going to give you more information on how you can contact Sister Anissa and get the book from her. Definitely, Sister Anissa, let me ask you this. Wait, I just want to make one point on what you just said as it relates to the many personalities and getting to the root. One of the key tools, and I'm not going to go into it today because it can be a long talk, but I had to conquer what you just talked about when it comes to the mind. I had to use that gift that was given to us by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan as it relates to Dianetics, which is the modern science to mental health, right? Mental health is definitely something that is self-care, right? When you can mind your mind and be effective at getting rid of your demons and casting out your devils. And so the tool that I had to use, I had to use that tool and that gift, and I'm going to say it, that gift of Dianetics. And our people are not totally familiar with it. We may even be afraid of it, but I'll guarantee you that if you just read it, look at it, and then test it out, that's the key, Sister Anissa.
Yes,
testing it out to be able to cast out your own demons. Good God Almighty, look towards that freedom of not having that chatter, and that's the benefit that I gain. I don't have those voices anymore. I don't have that clutter anymore. I'm at peace with myself because that other mind with those many personalities, which is known as the reactive mind, have been eradicated. So when we talk about eradicating generational traumas, dramas, limiting beliefs, and self-sabotaging behavior pattern, one of the solutions is using that tool and gift called Dianetics. So I didn't want to leave without stating that. Sister Nisa, you have become a best-selling author, not just an author. You are a international best-selling author. What did you learn about yourself in this journey as an author?
That it's okay to tell my story now.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I wrote in my chapter were the first two that I was able to actually get audited on.
Mm-hmm.
So those demons are cast out by way of what you just said, Dianetics. I'm so grateful to have had that gift in my life. Being a best-selling author has humbled me because being able to reach the people and serve them in this capacity is a gift from Allah. Not saying that I'm the gift. What I went through and came out of because of the God is the gift.
Mm-hmm.
And if I am able to share what I went through, because I know that I was not the only one prior to me writing it, and I won't be the only one after writing it. If me sharing my story can help somebody get through what they're going through, all praises be to Allah. And that's the way that I look at that. And meeting through the book. Because with an exception of you and Brother David and Sister Charlene and Brother Risa, and I know them because we belong we're in the same city. Sister June, we're in the same city, go to, attend the same mosques and everything. I've never met them, but I'm connected to them in a spiritual way because of what they wrote in that book. Them sharing their stories is them sharing a piece of themselves. And that's what makes me know them. And that's what I want from the people reading my chapter. I want you to know me so that you will see that if she did it, I can too.
How I got over.
That is what it's going to take. Yes, then all praises be to Allah, because this is what I wrote is not a national problem. It's an international problem.
Okay. That part. Yes, ma'am.
It is.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, good. So we have a few more minutes, and I just want to say this, family. Sister Nisa, well, one thing I want to say this. There's an untold story in everybody, right? And one of the most powerful things that you have said as it relates to this part of our segment, because you've just said so much, right, is to be able to tell your story. And if I can encourage anyone and everyone that's listening to this podcast today, there's an untold story that you got to be willing and able to tell to save a life. We are saviors, and your story will save a life. My mentor, one of my mentors, Queen of Four, says this: there's a book in you. And today I'm going to say, write your book, write your story. And if you want to write a book, you want to tell your story, I have an excellent person that has helped us, these 33 powerful authors, in the repair the Black family, okay, which is more than a book. It is a mission. Help us write a book. And that is Jessica T. Moore. I am so happy and just thankful that God brought that sister in my life. And I definitely want to continue to help her promote her helping people to get their stories out there. So Sister Nisa, we have 5 minutes. Well, 2 minutes for you and 3 minutes for me. Give us closing remarks, 3 tips that you would like this listening audience to walk away with as tips of success on mining the mind.
Number 1, get the book.
Okay.
Get the book so you can have something tangible to touch that you can clutch to your bosom and say, I can read this. There's something in it that's healing for me. Number 2, be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. Be honest with your truth. Mm-hmm. We all actually know what our weaknesses are, our shortcomings are, but we don't want to face them. If you're hurting, if you have false data deposited in you, downloaded in you, if you know that you have or can recognize some self-sabotaging ways, and if the same thing keeps happening to you over and over and over again, that's a sign that you need to mind the mind, because it's not what's external, it's what's internal. And please remember, you can move from person to person, from city to city, country to country, but no matter where you go, you take you with you. And that means that you're only going to run into the same thing, just in a different place. Water seeks its own level. So if you want to be riding the waves of success and love and joy and tranquility, mind the mind.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Sister Nisa, how can people get in contact with you and get the book from you?
You know what? I gotta go do a whole bunch of stuff to retrieve my affiliation link, but reach out to me through my email and I can get back with them.
Okay, so give your email address.
It's running across the screen right now. Sisters for Life Health Equity @gmail.com. That's my nonprofit, Sisters for Life Health Equity Group, Inc. And the goal is to approach health from a more progressive standpoint.
Absolutely.
To prevent the onset of chronic diseases for women with children and their entire families. Too many of our babies have chronic illnesses and they're not even adults yet. That's no, ma'am. That's no, ma'am.
Absolutely. So family, if you're listening to this broadcast, we're going to ask that you support Sister Anissa and get the book from her. You can follow her on Facebook as well. Facebook, you have to tell them the Facebook and also Instagram. We have 2 minutes. So if you can give them your information, we do have the email address, and give them the Facebook, because it's not just live. It's going to be uploaded to the podcast. Okay. Facebook, Instagram, and if you have a website, let's get that. And then I'm going to make the last few announcements.
Okay, I just put my IG up there. It's Mickey Ray, MIKKIRAY 60. And as far as my Facebook, just Anissa Muhammad, and you'll see my face with a little blue cap on, with a big old Kool-Aid smile on my face, because I was happy when I took that picture.
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing yourself.
You know yourself. And this is one sister. Walaikum salam, beautiful Rachel. I see you. This is a sister that is very powerful. And we hope that you are able to not just ingest what she said today, but to digest it. And Sister Nisa, I just want to thank you for just blessing my life. There would not be a Repair of the Black Family anthology without your portion, your story of minding the mind. You are one of the 33 powerful authors with 99 suggested solutions, not only to repair the Black family, but to repair humanity. This is a world assignment. And we thank God for our teacher and leader, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, for his inspiration, his sacrifice, and just putting a word in my ear, a word in my mind, a word in my heart that will have me to be mission-minded, to stand up and take this torch into every what they say, crank and noonie, or noonie and crank, to every nook and cranny around the world, because that's my intention, to help repair the Black family. Hey, we healing on purpose. And with that being said, we're going to ask that you get the book. It's up on the screen, Repair the Black Family Anthology. It's selling like hotcakes, okay? In addition, we do have, we have our new merchandise, okay? So the new merchandise are these beautiful shirts. We want you to support the shirt, because every shirt that you purchase, it goes towards the foundation. Repair the Black Family is a nonprofit organization, and we are striving to continue to help heal on purpose across the world. We know, look, we got a lot of love, but we don't have a lot of money. But money is just attention unit. So we are giving you our attention to continue to help to restore the families. So we have these shirts, Unapologetically Healing, as you can see, Heal on Purpose. These shirts are $24.99. You get to wear your healing on your chest. Okay, let me say that one more time. You get to wear your healing on your chest, okay? So we ask that you support and get the shirts. And last but not least, okay, we are going to Egypt. We have on September 18th through the 24th, we are going to connect with the motherland. We have 7 more spots left, family, to go to Egypt, and we are going to specialize in getting new results in your life, right? Putting yourself in an uncomfortable position to discover who you are and whose you are on the next level. This ignition retreat is unleashing your passion, your power, and your purpose, okay? And I gotta say this, you will never be the same again. It is an adventure, and you will not return the same. So for more information, please contact Sister Nayyirah in the Repair the Black Family. You can text the word Egypt to 727-623-5555, and visit our website and send us an email. All right, so that's all that I have today. It has been absolutely amazing to be here with my guest today, and we thank you all so much for listening. And I will tell you this, that the race is not to the swift, nor to the strong, but those who can endure to the end. No matter what you got going on in your life, just know if you can endure, you're going to make it through. Be successful, because success leaves clues. We love you. Thank you for listening. Peace.